Canon announced 4 lenses by the first half of 2025. So what's next? Will Canon go fast, go wide, or go L series? Or will Canon deliver APS-C or super telephoto lenses in the second half? We've got your update, but first, please punch that subscribe button. It takes just a second and means an awful lot to us. And it also tells the YouTube algorithm that maybe, just maybe, you're not here by mistake. Hello, I'm Simon, your friendly photographic correspondent who trawls through the rumor mill so that you don't have to. Things are starting to heat up, and I'm not just talking about outside. We're supposed to get up to 90 degrees today. Things might be, well, seeming a little bit slow, but Canon is expected to have an announcement next month. And now we're hearing about a new lens announcement. We've been told by a very reliable source that Canon is scheduled to announce a never-before-seen zoom lens from Canon. The lens in question is not the big white variety, but a more general use lens. The quote is vague and lacking detail, but there are clues in the language. General use means that it could be full frame or APS-C. It means that if it's an L series, well, it's going to be an affordable one. And while one could argue that it could be a prime or telephoto, it's definitely not going to be a big white or any kind of super telephoto lens. It means it's going to be a walk-around zoom, something we'd carry for travel, street events, or wedding photography, but also designed for videographers. And with a peek from recent patent applications, it could also be a fast f2 or f2.8. So the remaining question then is, will it be a full frame or APS-C lens? Well, there's another key phrase in the quote. It will be a never-before-seen lens. And of course, it's general use, but it's important enough that it got leaked. All these phrases indicate that it's likely to be a full-frame lens. Canon doesn't usually reserve first-ever launches for the APS-C mount. Now, based on the language and the context, Canon is likely to announce a full-frame standard zoom lens with the usual focal range, a fast aperture. Never before seen could also mean combining features and price points or at price points that we've, well, never seen before. Having a rear converter or some other hybrid design. I'd expect the focal range to appear somewhere between 20 to 135 millimeters. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be a 20 to 135, although that is interesting. It's going to be right within there, and with an aperture range starting at f2 or f2.8, and maybe even, as we've seen with some other affordable Canon zoom lenses, that it's going to stay at f2 or 2.8 throughout the entire focal range. Now, the optics might suffer a little bit if this is not going to be a high-end lens. And the mission for this lens, well, to enhance general purpose event and creative work. The last 3 to 4 months of 2025 are going to be when we see major product announcements, which is the way 2024 went for Canon EOS and RF lenses. Well, with a year half over, that's a pretty safe bet, considering that we've only had 4 lenses and no camera bodies. Or am I forgetting something? At this point, I can't think of anything major. No, wait, there was one camera body, and that's the EOS R50V, the first ever EOS RV camera body. I think it's a safe assumption from what we're being told that the last 3 to 4 months of 2024 are going to be big. Now, we are supposed to be getting an announcement next month, but for us to have, I'd say normally the second week of September till the first week of November is when we get the most announcements in the last quarter. We usually don't get them in December. They usually will start shipping in December if they were announced in that time frame. So what expectations do we have for the second half of 2025 or those last 3 to 4 months? Well, we're expecting the R6 III, and there's a pretty good indicator as to why I think the R6 III is going to be out there. There's the R7 II, and potentially a few EOS RV cameras that could be based on the R6 III, the R7 II, or even something else like the R8. And some are suggesting that we could get a refresh of the R8, but we haven't seen any indicators, anything sort of solid or validated at this point. And in terms of a few lenses aimed at pros and amateurs alike. And despite some price bumps in June, we're starting to see at least some of those come down for Canon. The EOS R6 II is currently priced at $1899, the R7 $1499, and the R5 Mark II at $3999. That R6 price is telling, $18.99. That's $600 off the release price, indicating that a refresh is highly likely. The R6 Mark II was announced in November the 2nd, I believe, coming up to 3 years ago. So it's still under the 3-year mark, which is certainly within range of a refresh of that camera. And its chief competition, the Sony a7 IV, well, it's in need of a refresh as well. $18.99, $600 off. That's telling that Canon's trying to clear out inventory of this camera. And one thing I was pretty happy to see when I took a look at prices, because we saw some really big price increases that happened just last month. I was on vacation and I was looking at the links to see what was on sale to let you guys know down below, because anything I find that's worthy of, hey, this is a pretty good deal, I like to put them in the description down below, and there weren't too many. But now we're seeing Canon come back down to, well, prices that we saw before the tariffs really kicked in. So the R5 II, $39.99, that's $300 off its release price. That's good news. The R6 II, that's discounted. The R7's discounted. We're seeing sales off many lenses. Not as good as before, but keep in mind, this is the summertime. It's kind of slow. The best deals of the year usually are leading up to Black Friday and then shortly after that up until Christmas. I'm expecting to see some good deals, better deals coming up to Black Friday, but that's a few months away. And Canon isn't the only one that's got some really good deals on. The Nikon Z8 is $36.96. Again, that's off its release price. The only company that doesn't make any sense to me is Sony. The a7S III was released 1 month after the R5. That's 5 years ago. No sign of an a7S IV or an FX3 update, because some, myself inclusive, have thought with the FX3, do we need an A7S refresh? Well, neither camera is getting refreshed at this point, but Sony, in their infinite wisdom, have decided to jack up the price of the A7S III, blaming it on tariffs, to a price never seen before, $3,800. That's huge. The R5 that was released at the same time, okay, so it's not $29.99, it's $31.99. So the price has gone up a couple of $100 there due to tariffs. But that price is still far cheaper than its release price. What is Sony doing here? I mean, that's pretty arrogant to take one of your cameras, a very popular camera, that you basically borrowed capabilities for all the cameras that have come after it, to say, yeah, I know it's 5 years old, but yeah, you're going to have to pay $3,800. Is it $38 or $38.99? Because if it's $38.99, that makes it even worse. Sony a7S III. Wrong glasses again. Oh, this is interesting. So today, they've dropped the price back down. They're saying it's $300 off. I love this. $300 off at $34.98. The price today, $34.98, is pretty much their release price, and that's a sale price. I don't know what Sony's doing. They need to take a look at their prices, and this is a sign that a company doesn't respect their customers. I think the a7S III is a terrific camera, but it is 5 years old. There's no way today's price for this camera should be higher or the same as it was 5 years ago. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyhow, if you are interested in purchasing any cameras or lenses that I've talked about in this video, please consider using my affiliate links down below in the description, or these guys right here. Even if you click on a link to something and you end up buying something else, don't worry, as long as you're within the same session, I get credit for it, and basically I get a small commission back, and it can be anywhere from 2 to 5%, and it is very much appreciated. I thank you very much for your support, for watching this video, for using my links, because this is a viewer-supported channel. I almost daily get pressure to do some sort of sponsorship, and most of them I don't like. They just have no bearing on my content, no bearing on anything that you'd be interested in. It just comes across as, well, this channel becomes a vehicle for selling goods, and that's not the way I like to look at things. To me, it's far more important that this channel informs you, maybe a little bit entertains you, but mostly informs you, keeps you up to date on the latest camera news, rumors, and patent applications. So I thank you very much for your support. For those of you that have used my affiliate links in the past, it's very much appreciated. And for everybody else, thank you so much for watching. For watching this video to the very end. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great day, a great week, and we'll see you again soon.